It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
All right, Brian, this question is from MKF. New employer 401k options are limited with high expenses, actively managed funds with poor returns. Should I skip the 401k and instead contribute that money to my brokerage account? I also max out my Roth and HSA. So MKF sounds like is doing the financial order of operations. If you don't know what that is, go to moneyguide.com/resources. Check out our free deliverable. Sounds like MKF is doing that. They've made it through step 5, maxing that out. And now it's to the employer side. They say, you know what? It's high expenses. The funds aren't that good. They're actively managed. Should I just skip step 6 altogether? Is it just not even worth my time to look at my employer-sponsored plan? What would you say?
It's funny. My former next-door neighbor, he moved back up to Chicago, but he reached out with he won't mind me sharing that he reached out about his wife's 401k. And I was like, look, your wife's 401k is just not very good. It's old. Mm-hmm. It's not modernized.
That's right.
It doesn't have she actually, because this is the thing, and a lot of you guys will resemble this, is that you have employers where you've put money into your retirement plan because you're trying to get to the 20-25%, but because their plans are structured and you're considered highly compensated, they send you, essentially refund checks because you can't contribute. That doesn't have to happen. Mm-mm. I mean, if you have an employer that's still they need to modernize their plan in a lot of aspects, but it is not uncommon that I hate it when things that are positive turn into negatives. And you see this sometimes when products are sold to people. And it wouldn't surprise me to find out that maybe your 401k was implemented by the college roommate or an aunt or an uncle, or maybe even the grown children of the owner of the company, where they were sold this 401k and they're not really maximizing all opportunities to take advantage of these awesome wealth building vehicles. Because it is one of those things, when just giving context on how powerful employer retirement plans is, lots of research shows this is the first account that reaches 7 figures.
This is where you become a millionaire.
This is where you become a millionaire, and you see that. So it's so powerful. So I would first encourage, if you have a cruddy plan, go become an advocate to see if maybe you can modernize and improve. And that's actually the advice I gave to my neighbor.
It's happened for actual Money Guy listeners have been able to do that.
So be active, advocate for yourself and your fellow coworkers. Try to see if y'all can upgrade the retirement plan, because this is such a valuable tool. Now, if it's not something that you can, it's almost a country song. You have to love the one you're with. And, and it's a sad country song, where you're holding your beer and all, because it is one of those things.
Your $1 bill and all.
Because, look, you have the potential of a very valuable tool. It's just not being maximized. And now you have to figure out, let's triage this and figure out what's the best use. And that's why I do come back to financial order of operations. When you look at this, we know, number 2, that employer match, assuming this poorly structured retirement plan it offers an employer match, you got to take advantage of that, because that's at a minimum probably a 50% to 100% guaranteed rate of return.
And no matter how high the fees are, they ain't 100%.
They're not 50 to 100%. So that's why if you have a matching plan, you gotta love the one you're with and take advantage of that. And then it's one of those things, as you're going through the financial order of operations, you can start getting strategic with looking at your retirement plan, because one of the things you'll find is that, especially if it's a traditional retirement plan with a good employer match or something like that, is that you might say, well, these things are great in the fact that they all ordinary income, let's put our safe investments in the 401k. And you look at it and you go, okay, they got a bond fund that is not great, but it's also not horrible. So you take advantage of the best thing that they have in their retirement plan. Or maybe you look at it and they have an index fund, but it's not like a Vanguard or a Fidelity or a Charles Schwab index fund, which is practically free. Their index fund still costs 0.5% a year. Mm-hmm. I don't know why index funds would do that, but we see them from time to time. Then maybe you make the best of a cruddy situation and you do that. I don't know if I gave them enough strategy there, Bo, but that's kind of, I would really encourage you, first advocate, then, check out that employer match. And then next, think about, are there other strategies we can maximize in this not so great retirement
Well, because
plan?
the beautiful thing about retirement plans in general, specifically like employer returns, is they are tax incented, right? You normally get two different ways that you can contribute. You can either put money in pre-tax and save, right? Save on your contributions, which again, just like we talked about, free money is like an imputed 50 to 100% rate of return. Tax savings on a 401k is like an imputed 20, 25, 30% rate of return. Or if you're doing the Roth portion, it's just another way to build up Roth free dollars. So I'm of the opinion, I think you still got to do step 6. Now, I think you still got to do step 6. I was going to add a caveat to that. I think employer-sponsored plans, even if they're expensive, even if they have active funds, start being a squeaky wheel to HR, telling them, hey, if I can't change the whole plan, give me this index fund, give me this bond fund, give me this, fill in the blank, and I think it can make a huge difference.
Yeah, that's why I'm good. I'm glad I didn't leave anything laying on the side. You kind of cleaned it up for me.